YouTube. This video is going to be on this performance carburetor stage 1 from JMCH Store Performance. I got to use a magnifying glass here. It's the JMCH Performance Carburetor High Flow Air Filter Adapter Kit for the Phatmoto 79cc gas bike stage 1 kit. Also fits the 105cc life in. So it'll work for either one, the 79 or the 105 from JMCH Store, stage 1. Okay. This is what we got. When you get your kit, it comes with a new fuel line and a fuel filter. It also comes with the bigger pilot jet, which I'll show you how to put that in. And it comes with the bigger main jet. Because sometimes, especially with the 105, when you put the free flow air filter on and you put the header, that engine breathes better. It's sucking more air through there. So you got to compensate and give it a little more gas. Otherwise, it'll be running too lean. If your jets are too tiny, they're not allowing enough gas to go through and it won't run proper. Okay. You also get a new crankcase filter breather. When you take that stock air filter off, you need to have a breather. So you get this. You get the adapter. Oh, you got a set of gaskets too. You get spare gaskets. You get this adapter. This flat side goes against the carburetor like, let me get this in the viewfinder, like that. And the little notches inside of there are notched, so these air tubes get air. Don't put it like this. It won't run right. You got to put it like this. Okay. And the way this works is, let me get this stack over here. This will be against the carburetor. This is kind of like a velocity tube. It goes right on there like that. Now on this outside velocity tube, there's 3 set screws. You got 3 set screws. Right there, don't lose these. You'll be at the store trying to buy them. And that gets put on there. Then this outer rubber gasket goes on there. And it's got a groove in here. So you can get this screen and foam stack put in there. Now there's 2 different size screens. There's a fine, which would go against the carburetor. Then your foam, and then your coarse screen goes on the outside. So to go like this. And that's your high flow air filter. Okay. Now your performance carburetor comes with an air fuel mixture, so you can fine tune that turkey. to where you smog carburetor, which I got in here. This is the original off the Lifan, this smog carburetor. Anyway, this is performance carburetor. Now let me show you here. That is choke off. Your butterfly is in the vertical position. This is wide open. You got air flowing through there. That's choke on. Your butterfly's got that shut down. This way it's choke off. To the right, it's choke on. Choke off, choke on. All right, here's another thing about this. This carburetor compared to other ones you buy, this one's been specifically designed for the Lifan. It's got the little spring under this. Let me make sure I'm in the viewfinder. It's got the spring under this throttle, so it springs back. Now, I got the first performance carburetor from JMCH Store a couple years ago, and they didn't have that on there, which is no big deal. I took the butterfly out, took the shaft out, took the spring off my original carburetor and put on there. But Carl got a hold of Jimmy, he's the head guy there at JMCH Performance Store, and told him about that. Well, they stepped up, and for our Lifan engines, you need that spring. Now, for a lawnmower, you don't really need it. But since we have a twist throttle, you need that spring. Okay. Let me show you this smog carburetor. This is the original carburetor off my Lifan. Oh God, I ran it for like 2.5 years, maybe. You see there's no spring because I took it off and put it on the carburetor that's on my bike right now, which is an exact same carburetor as this one. But when you buy the kit, it's $31.99. You get the breather, you get the new performance carburetor, you get the high flow air filter, get gaskets, you get a new filter and a fuel line. And right there, see, there's no air fuel mixture compared to the performance carburetor. See the difference? No air fuel, smog carb. These things, they kind of work, but they really don't. They don't work that good. Once you've got this better carburetor on there with air, you can fine tune it, and it'll idle better. It won't hunt and surge so much. It'll just run better. It's just better. But anyway, all right. Let me put this thing away. All right, now I'm going to show you how to change the main jet if you want to increase it, and the pilot jet. Okay. If you don't have one of these gear wrenches, these things are so handy with this ratchet box in. I'm telling you. Anyway, pay attention to your drain. It's oriented towards your fuel inlet. You don't want to put it on somewhere where you can't get to it later on the bike. That's your bowl drain. So you need to just drain it out for storage. Undo that and drain your fuel right out. Okay, here's the bolt that holds on the bowl. It's usually pretty tight when it's new. All right, I hope I'm in the viewfinder. I think I am. All right, there's a little rubber gasket here. Don't lose it. And anytime you're cleaning these carbs with a chemical carb cleaner, and these little rubber gaskets, do not get the carb cleaner on them, because it affects them. It makes them swell up, and then they don't fit, and then they'll leak. It's not a big deal if you've got new ones to replace it, but don't get carb cleaner on any of these little rubber gaskets. Okay, take your bowl off. Now there's that gasket. Don't get carb cleaner on that gasket. Okay, now be careful that your float pin doesn't fall out and your needle falls out. Now down in here is the main jet. So you're going to need a screwdriver that's thin. If you don't have one, you can take a regular screwdriver and grind it down to where it's thin so it'll fit down in this hole. Not all screwdrivers will fit down in there. Okay, make sure you're down in that slot. It's usually pretty tight. And pop that main jet loose and unthread it. All right. A lot of times you can go like that and it'll pop right out. See that? Now down in there is an emulsion tube. If it doesn't come out, you don't need to take it out unless you're cleaning that carburetor. And it's a little brass tube in there and it's full of tiny little holes that must be clear. If any of those little holes are plugged up, your carburetor, your engine's not going to run right. It's going to be frustrating. But anyway, if that emulsion tube doesn't come out, leave it in there. Okay, here's the new bigger jet. There's your slot for your screwdriver. Just pop it right in there. Take your screwdriver, spin it around till it gets in your little slot in your jet. There it is. And spin your jet down in. That's all there is to it. Now when you get down here, these need to be tight, but not so tight that you strip the jet out. Because if you strip the jet out, well, if you ever need to clean the carb, you can't get the jet out and you're kind of screwed. So thread it down in there. And wait, something's going on here. Okay. There. Okay. When you know it, gonna have an issue. Let's see what's going on here. There it is. You know what I think it is? I think the new jet, the slots for the screwdriver on this new jet are smaller than this screwdriver bit. Let me see. No. Could be the case. Because it should, by now, thread down in there and be snug, and then you just give it a little bit of a turn. And, yep, that's the case. This bit is a little bit too wide for that new jet. Isn't that something? See how that fits on there? On that new jet, it's not fitting down in there. That slot is too small. So I've got to get a smaller bladed screwdriver to get in there to get that tight. So, yeah, I've got one around here. It's just I'm going to have to find it. This is a little bit of a dilemma here. So, if you're doing yours and you have this problem, make sure you've got a smaller bit in your screwdriver that'll fit in that jet, so you can get that jet tight, because if it's not tight, it's not going to work, guys. I mean, it's got to be tight to where it won't come out. Isn't that something? That just pisses me off. All right, well, anyway, get your jet tight. Once that jet's tight in there, put your bowl back on. Remember your orientation. The drain went towards the inlet. Make sure your gasket's on there proper. And put the bolt back in. See why these ratchet wrenches are so nice. Get it pretty tight so it doesn't leak. I'm going to go back in there and fix that jet, but I just wanted to show you guys. Now for this pilot jet, the pilot jet is right there. See it? So you undo the idle screw. Let me put this screwdriver back together so I got some leverage. I wonder if there's a screwdriver in this little Jim Dandy kit here. Holy cow. I'll bet you one of these little screwdriver bits will work on that carburetor. Let me see. There's a little Phillips. Are these knife blades or a screwdriver blade? Oh, can opener. Knife blade. Well, it doesn't look like it. Maybe that one. Look at there. You think that one would work? I think it will. Let's go back in there. Let's go back in and do some more surgery. Jeez. You'd think I'd be better prepared, huh? Now this time, the gasket stayed. All right, let's see if this will work. Sure feels like it. All right. Huh. That one worked. Okay. Remember your drain orientation. All right. There's a little rubber seal. All right. There's my spare jet. Now you got to put these somewhere where you won't lose them. Okay, let's take out this this idle set screw. It's plastic, threads right out. There you go. Your idle set screw. Now right here's your pilot jet. Now usually you can just pry right up under it and it comes right out. See there? Okay. There's your stock pilot jet. Let's put it over there. Now here's your new one. It's bigger. Now, right down in there, you've got two flat sides. See the two flat sides? Make sure the flat side goes against that flat side right there. There you go. Make sure it's lined up like that. Push it down in there. Make sure it's nice and square. Put your idle screw back on. That's what holds that pilot jet down in there. Believe it or not, that's it. Run your set screw back in. That's it. This carb's ready to go on the engine. That's about it. You might want to grab that fuel inlet if you need to. Let's see how tight it is. And twist it up a little bit to accommodate your fuel line going in. Now also, Carl was telling me on these with this air filter, this is your engine side here. This is the engine over here. This is your air filter side. With this air filter, it might interfere with your fuel outlet on your tank. Now mine's got a fuel petcock. Your newer model guys, you just got a barb fitting, and they utilize this shutoff. The 2019s came with a fuel petcock and the shutoff. So if that's the case, you put a 90-degree, either a banjo or a 90-degree fitting that's short, and an inline fuel shutoff. So you can shut the fuel off and do your carburetor work without having to worry about draining your tank. You can always pinch the line off if you have to. Okay, that's about it. That's about as much damage as I can do. So, next video I'll be putting this on the bike. In actuality, this carburetor is already on my bike. It's been on there for a couple of years, and it works fantastic. Okay, so I will talk to you later.